Developed by Gearbox Studios, yes, the ones that would go on to create Borderlands.
I'm the conductor of the poop train!
And releasing in November of 1999, exactly a year after the original Half-Life.
Well...
Opposing Voice was one of the 3 DLCs made for Half-Life 1, and is what I can confidently say is the best and the worst Half-Life game, which may confuse you now, but by the end of the video I assure you it will all make sense. However, I think a bit of background is necessary for us to fully understand Half-Life Opposing Force. So, in the first Half-Life, we see Gordon Freeman, a theoretical physicist who accidentally caused the resonance cascade. And a side effect of this is that aliens ended up spawning into our world. Gordon has to try and stop the invasion by killing their leader, the Nihilanth, all while saving scientists, getting help from security guards, and fighting off the HECU. The HECU has been sent in to clean up the mess at Black Mesa, through silencing everybody involved. Now that's where we come in. We are Corporal Adrian Shepard.
Looks more like Corporal Dog Meat to me! Seems you're
A member of the HECU who is sent into Black Mesa, all whilst being told that he'll receive his orders once they land. Wait, hold on. Oh my god!
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You wake up here with this scientist who's talking some weird stuff.
Beansprout played this game live on YouTube. Check out his streams at 12:30 p.m. Central Time every weekend. They're always incredibly fun.
In the first level, we're really just getting used to playing Half-Life once again. We solve a pretty easy puzzle, have a G-Man sighting, and find ourselves our trusty... wrench? Yeah, here we see Gordon Freeman's iconic crowbar be replaced by a wrench. I mean, it does function pretty differently. It has 2 attack modes, one of them being a light attack and the other being a heavy.
Hello, soldier sir.
Hello to yourself. The first time I played, I did kind of find this bit a bit tedious and annoying, but it does serve to show the player how to turn on and off these electrical boxes. As from my memory, these weren't in the original Half-Life. I may be wrong though, correct me in the comments. From the security guard's body, we do find the world's worst pistol. I don't know if it was just me, but the Doom 3 shotgun has better accuracy than this thing. I know it has a laser sight, but it didn't really seem to do much different in terms of damage, so I don't know. Making our way through this sewer looking area, die, please, and obtaining the shotgun. A shotgun? In the first bit? Let's go. We find ourselves at the bottom of an elevator. This elevator genuinely gives me PTSD to the bit with the head grabs in the first Half-Life. Atop the elevator, we find what is one of my favourite moments in the game. The room collapses around us and there's seemingly no way out. I'm done for here. I'm done for. Eventually, we end up on the Black Mesa train system once again.
This train is inbound.
Sector C.
We fight some Vortigaunts as we go up this train elevator thing, and then eventually come face to face with him. He's still at the vending machine. Trust this guy to be... Come on. Wait, is he Paul Blart? Single-handedly the strongest video game character ever created, who also seems to have a thing for friendly fire.
I don't want to die a virgin.
This level is really short, but it does introduce us to some pretty cool things. We get our first glimpse of our new group of enemies, Race X, as one of them kidnaps this boy scientist.
No! I don't want to die!
And as you'll see later, these enemies are very tough.
Come in, Cooper. Do you copy? Forget about Freeman. We're abandoning the base.
Here we actually get to see is how I assume a lot of the scientists got treated by the soldiers at Black Mesa, you know, when they weren't just killing them. Also, this guy looks strangely like Anthony Mackie, I think. Yeah, so as we go to get to the helicopter, the door shuts and we see our friends leave us, as the G-Man stares lovingly into our eyes. Oh, and I should probably also take this time to tell you about the night vision, as I am sure you're probably wondering why you keep getting blinded every time the screen goes green. The night vision was really something that I felt was kinda underutilized. I would have loved to see them implement it a bit more, as I think it's genuinely a really fun and creative addition to the game. We are almost immediately ambushed by 2 Vortigaunts. We progress through this area with these massive spinning fans attempting to not get turned into 2 different pieces. We also meet a new enemy here. Basically, if Sam Sulik got infected by a head crab and turned into a zombie, this big buff idiot tries to run after you and throw what I assume are baby head crabs at you, which I think is really funny, honestly. And I don't know why, but for some reason this room just hits. I just really love the way it looks, but I can't put my finger on why. Oh, and also the encounter here is really good. Eventually, we end up saving this scientist from the new enemy, called the pit drone. On its own, it's fine, but in groups, it's an absolute nightmare. Worst enemy in the game. Actually, the worst enemy in the game.
Don't know what's worse. You soldiers under orders to silence the facility or these vile aliens.
Of course, I have to keep up my duty to America and kill every single scientist I see. After shutting down the power, we climb this rope. Yes, you heard me correctly. We can use them to climb, to rappel down, or to swing across gaps. Honestly, man, I'm just as shocked as you are about this whole thing.
When all the fighting started, I hid myself here. I don't think any of them above have survived.
Here is where we run into some friendly Marines. And you know what? This might be one of my favourite additions to the game. The implementation of the Marines really helped to differentiate the game from Half-Life 1. The engineer can help cut down doors that you otherwise couldn't get through. And the medic does exactly what he says it does. He's a medic. If you walk up to him and hold the use key, he will heal you. But just like a med station, he can run out. And with that, the engineer cuts down the door, and we enter into... We are greeted by another Vortigaunt ambush, and honestly I love the combat in this level. It shows pretty well the difference between the pacing of this game and the first Half-Life. Unlike the more thoughtful firefights in Half-Life, opposing force has a lot more run and gun to it. Apart from this area though, this area is terrible. To progress, we need to go and help a injured engineer to let us through the door, so into the vents we go.
Why do we always have to clean up a mess the grunts can't handle?
So yeah, the military kinda messed up and wasn't doing their job properly, so Black Ops soldiers have been sent in to clean up after them. And by clean up after them, I mean killing all of the staff at Black Mesa along with the Marines who were sent in to do that in the first place. But of course,
A dead Marine is a worthless Marine!
and I need to keep up my American— oh, I'm not doing this bit again. I'm not doing it again. When trying to help out the engineer, the medic kinda just bugged out, but trust me, there is worse bugs later. Once he finally does get back up though, we regroup with the other Marines and start fighting more Black Ops soldiers. And we end up back on trams, for God's sake!
It's ready. You must go now.
Oh my god, was that Gordon Freeman? I love being able to see stuff like this in games, it's awesome. We fight these annoying things from Half-Life 1, but thankfully they don't show up again. I did actually try and jump through this portal because I assumed we was going to go into Zen as well, but no, I just fell. But another portal does open up and it takes us to... Wait, no, turn off the dramatic music. We are only here so that we can pick up the teleportation gun. What's that, you ask? Well, it's one of the many new weapons introduced in Opposing Force. It does a hefty amount of damage to enemies when hit with it, and if you use the secondary fire, it'll teleport you to a random place, either in Black Mesa or Zen. This can be useful in bad situations so that you can restock on supplies, which I think is really cool. We find this scientist and I'm sorry guys, I had to disobey my mission and leave him alive. But it's only because I genuinely thought he was going to be needed later on in the level. Visually, this is one of my favourite levels in Half-Life, and that's really saying something because Half-Life has some beautiful environments. As you could probably guess from the name of the level, there's a lot of fighting within water, but this time it doesn't make me want to stop playing video games forever. I am not trying to pronounce that. I really wish we had more levels with this aesthetic in Half-Life, but then again, maybe that's why it's so special, because there isn't very many of them. Whoa, is this like an alien zoo? I wonder if I can pet them. No, definitely not petable! The entire level just looks cool. It all consists of these giant observation areas and the laboratories that we're used to on Black Mesa. However, I think this is where I should probably talk about some of the problems with this game. One of the big ones is you can't move sometimes. Okay, let me explain. There is certain elevators which after loading you will get stuck a tiny bit in the floor. This will happen every single time you reload the save, so don't even try that.
Of pain, of suffering, of destruction.
The only way to get out of this situation is by turning on cheats and using no-clip. Moving past that and further into the labs though, we find one of my favourite parts of this game. The barnacle. Yep, that is a handheld barnacle. It acts kind of like a combination of how Doom Eternal's meat hook was going to work in concept and how it eventually worked in game. Smaller enemies will get pulled towards you, whilst bigger ones will pull you towards them. and it can also be used for some platforming areas that are admittedly pretty janky. Speaking of janky, another fun elevator. After I escape from the elevator of doom, we explore the laboratories a little bit more and move on to... I am genuinely not joking when I say you have to use no clip at the start of this chapter. When going down this vent, the player will get stuck as soon as the level starts, which was not a good first impression to this level. Fortunately though, this level actually wasn't quite bad. It's certainly not one of my favourites, but I did enjoy my time with it. It's one of the only boss fights we see in the game, and it's basically a smaller scale version of Blast Pit from the first game. We need to turn on a bunch of pipes so that we can drown it in toxic waste, and yes, the two things that we need to activate are both called Valve and Gearbox. I wonder where they got the idea for that. There isn't actually a huge amount to say on this level because all you do is turn on switches and drown the monster, so let's move on. This level was a huge pain. The large open spaces full of Black Ops soldiers and minimal cover really did not help. In this level though, we do find one of the best new additions to this DLC, that being the sniper rifle. And apart from making the game feel like Counter-Strike, I think it fits really well into this game's sandbox. It functions exactly how you'd expect it to, but as a trade-off for it being pretty hard to hit, it does one-shot Black Ops soldiers. Missed again. Wait, that one-shots them? I think the night vision's actually really well implemented here, and it makes me wish that we had a full level just for night vision, like say what Modern Warfare does. This is the penultimate level, and I wouldn't say it's really as hard as the previous level, but it's still a great time. We start off running through this sandy, rocky terrain whilst trying to fight off the Black Ops soldiers, and then progress into an area where we are both ambushed by Race X and get mortar striked by Black Ops. This helicopter fight is so easy, oh my god. Absolutely cooked. Once back inside, our goal here is to disarm a nuke, and being in the parking lot of Black Mesa really helps to humanize this place. I mean, to some of the scientists here, they just wake up, commute to work, and get their work done before going back home. It just makes the whole place feel a lot more real, and I love that type of world building that Half-Life is so well known for. This is the hardest level in the game, which is fitting as it's the final one. We're inside exploring this large storage area and getting assaulted by both sides. I thought this level was really good, but also a tiny bit cheap. As we established in the first Half-Life video, the platforming is not great, so imagine my delight when there's a bunch of enemies below me and these two small boxes to jump across. At least the boss fight is cool-ish though. It's a giant weird monster thing that comes out of a huge nether portal, but it's not all too complicated. We have to use these laser cannons to shoot it in the eye and then shoot this orb thing in its stomach. You repeat that a few times until it's done. After the fight, there is a G-Man moment, but considering Adrian never shows up again in the series, I don't think it's really worth talking about it. He says a bunch of things, but I really think it's just yap, honestly. So, having finished Half-Life Opposing Force, I can safely say without any doubt that it is the best and worst Half-Life experience. I loved the gameplay, setting and general mood of the game. Playing as the enemy faction in games is something I've always found really fascinating, and I'd love to see a future Half-Life game where we play as a member of the Combine, similar to what was done in Entropy Zero. However, I also cannot get over the numerous game-breaking bugs. Honestly, if I wasn't playing this for a video, as much as I really enjoyed my time with the game, I don't think I'd have finished it, because I get very easily frustrated by bugs like this. But if you'd like to watch all of my Half-Life videos in order, you can click on the video appearing right here to see that. Of course, remember to check out Akka Clothing using code Beansprout for 20% off. There's also a Discord if you want to join that, but apart from that, have a brilliant day.